fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Father's Note, where we promote fathers through building men. I am your host, Mr. Lionel Nelson, and as always, we're certainly glad that you took the time out to stop by and see about us and to check out our broadcast on tonight. Listen, we took off a month in the last month in 2021, December. And I can tell you right now, I really miss you all. I miss you all tremendously. There were a couple of times I'm like, man, I can't do this here. I got to get back and just meet with my people. But nevertheless, we're back. We thank God for the new year. We want to definitely say Happy New Year's to you all, to each and every one. We are just praying that you had a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. And listen, let's rock and roll because we got a nice panel for you tonight. And we want to get them going here. But listen, while you're here, okay, please spread the word, share, reach out to your family members, reach out to other men, ladies. Y'all know y'all know how to do this thing. Let's make this thing happen. Spread the word. Let people know. Let your family members, your friends, your associates know that a Father's Note is back. We're on live tonight, and we're getting ready to do this. Okay, so tonight we have a men's roundtable, whereas that I called on a couple of brothers, very dear brothers of mine, and we just want to come in and we're going to talk about becoming a better man for ourselves, a better man today. So without any further ado, because I want to make sure I give as much time to these brothers to say what they have to say, because I am absolutely certain they got some good nuggets for all of us tonight. So first of all, we're going to bring on Mr. Kerry Johnson, Mr. Elias, Shiverton, Mr. Gerard, and Mr. Aaron. What's up, my brothers?
What's going on?
How y'all doing?
Going on, bro?
Man, it's awesome, man. Now, we got some background noise, so we can kind of tone that down. We'll appreciate it. I don't know where it might be coming from. But let's make sure we give a nice, good audio sound to the people, to our guests, okay? Listen, I asked you guys to come on here so we could talk about, and the question is that what event or experience that you encountered in 2021 that was essential to helping you become a better version of yourself today, a better man today going in to 2022. Now, for me, take a few minutes here to say what changed me, what empowered me as a man, as a father, as a husband. And now I have my wife and I, many of you have known, you've heard me say that my wife and I, we have a blended family. And in this blended family, we have 5 daughters, because this is what I want to take what I'm about to say here. And she has 3 daughters and I have 2. Now, when we came together, they were all young. All of our girls was young. But my oldest daughter, who is 35 now, I believe, we didn't live together. She did not technically live with us in the beginning. My 2 older children, they was living with their mother. Now, the short version of what I want to say here is that not having my younger daughter, she was with us, of course. But what was interesting, or what was significant to me this year, was being able to give away one of our daughters in the marriage. She just got married. Y'all have seen me have her on the show multiple times. And I don't want to talk too long because I could go on about this, but I want to make this short. What was so impactful to me as a father, having that experience of giving my daughter away, man, let me tell you, you see it on television, you see it in magazines, you see it on social media of other men, that experience. Now we do have an older daughter who is married. Of course, we have a great relationship, but our relationship was never had the opportunity to grow as close as my relationship with our baby daughter, I'll put it like that, Talisha, who I've had on the show tremendously, because the oldest daughter, she was always in and out of the house simply because she was in college. But nevertheless, though, that experience for me, knowing that I was able, and man, let me tell you something, that thing really just touched me. And so, as my wife said, I looked like I was a proud papa. I don't know if I ever stopped smiling for days, man. I was so happy. The experience is just beyond what anyone can express. Any man can express. But what my point is that I was able to generate that type of relationship with a child that was not my own, with a young lady who was not my own. And what that did is that inspired me to want to create and have them same relationship with my other daughters as well, going into 2022. And that is so pivotal. So in essence, whatever it takes for me as a father, I want to make sure that not only that I have that same relationship. Now, all of them pretty much out of the house right now, but it is in my intent to still reach out to them and have those conversations. It is still my intent to show them that love, whether or not it's through a card or just send flowers or just because or what have you. Man, having a relationship with my daughters is one of the remainder of my daughters is one of the most important things to me and that was all from my experience with Talisha, who I've had on the show so many times. Doc, listen, man, if y'all guys got some daughters, all I got to do is say just love on them, love on them, love on them. Because when it come time for to give them away, oh man, I tell you the truth. You feel it right there. You feel it, man. You feel it, man. But I'm so happy. But that was my life experience, and that's what I'm striving to do, because being able to have that type of relationship, that close relationship with her was just phenomenal, was paramount for me. And I'm just grateful to God for that experience, fellas. So that's my little 2 cents going. What happened there? Y'all still? Okay. So let's go, Mr. Carey.
Blessings. I'm here. What's up? Here we go. So we're
sir. So what was significant this year for you, bro?
okay. First, I'll say if the viewers on the other side, if you're getting a little breaking up, just hang with us. Everything's gonna clear out. So wow, what I feel like I had an encounter with time. I feel like I had an encounter with time. And I say that because I started paying more attention to how much time I'm spending towards the vision of everything else but mine. All right. So that started to shape the way I started to interact and view everything that I was doing, whether it was at work, at church, home, or with people, whatever. I do a little barbering on the side. I started like evaluating everything. So for me, time is very essential, and it's something that you cannot get back right now. Nothing this time right here, we can't get back. So it's valuable that we spend it, you know what I'm saying? Like making it count. And so at the end of the day, it's just like, I got to make my time count, brother. So that's what's shaping everything about me today. And why that has to be that way, because when it relative to time and vision, if you waste a lot of time, you're not really wasting time when you're helping other people's vision and you're supporting them. You're not wasting time. But if you're not paying attention to your own vision, time is passing you by, and you're building everybody else's, and your vision is just kind of just taking a little dip down. Now, what taking the time to put our vision on track does for our families in the household. Now, when our sons and our daughters and our wives sees that man leading the home and bringing that vision to the forefront, now we have a better trail of success for the family, and then that unpopular word submission becomes a thing of the past.
Mm,
So
mm.
when you have a vision and you're spending time and you're working on it, I don't want to spin this into a marriage seminar, but if you're married, women need something to follow. So if we're spending our time building everybody else's ministry and we're building, their vision and we're doing nothing, our wives are almost apt to follow something else and not us. So
Wow.
it's vital that we spend time and monitor our time and making sure that we put time on our own personal visions.
Yeah, I like that, man. Time. That's good. We gonna chime in on a little bit. Let's hear from everybody, then we'll come back to it because that was some good points that you had said there. What you got for us, Mr. Elias? We're gonna chime in on a little bit. Let's hear from
Well,
everybody.
what I have to say about that is, think about last year to this year. I look at my life when it comes down to my family, and realize, competition was the biggest factor when it come down to life. We tend to be in competition with the wrong things instead of allowing ourselves to be blended and be bonded to the right things. And I'm learning even when I have reconnect with my oldest daughter back in March. No, actually, it's in February. We sat down and had a discussion. And the first thing she said was, you know, you did not spend the time, necessary time that you desired to spend with me because you're busy working all the time. And we
Mm.
consume ourselves with things that's outside our home instead of consuming time within our home. And we're losing our family because we spend too much time out of our home.
Mhm.
We spend 8 hours or 16 hours at work, but then end up spending 8 hours or actually 6 to 5 hours home.
Right.
And then when you're
Hello.
home, you sleep. So it's
Mm.
like, when do you have the time to reconnect with your loved ones? You don't, because
Wow.
we lose the time because we are blinded by our own vision of think I got to go get it instead of running about, I got to make sure my family is all right.
Man, that's powerful.
Word.
That's powerful, man. Man, this is some good stuff, man. I appreciate that, Mr. Elias. Mr. David, what you
Yes, sir.
got for us, baby?
Man, that's a lot to unpack. It's a lot of information that to be honest with you is definitely kind of hitting me left and right at this very moment because I'm 2 years married and a month in having a son, and these are all things that are definitely I guess really showing themselves to me like in 3D every day. Trying to figure out how to just make sure I'm not too caught up in trying to go get it, like you said, that I'm totally neglecting spending time with my family and you know. But to get to the actual subject, the main thing I would say was really impactful for me last year was definitely, I would even say, the pregnancy of my wife, not just the birth of my son. My wife was initially pregnant with twins, and unfortunately we lost one of the babies at 6 months. So
Mm.
it was man, it was such a moment for me that I had to uh I really had to see myself. I was either gonna allow myself to become strong man Dave and like I'm all right, or really allow myself to really be vulnerable in this moment. And what it ended up doing was it helped my wife to get through that moment. Her seeing my vulnerability helped her get through the whole situation. And it was such a profound moment for me because I'm like, man, most of the times we're the ones that got to hold everybody up. But
Come
at
on,
that,
bro.
there were a lot of moments where I broke. I just
Yes.
broke. Like I couldn't.
Yes.
But in that, she would the look that she would give me was just like hope, And I'm looking at her, I'm like, you
Right.
going through this? She had to carry the baby the whole term, so it was just, I'm like, man, you experiencing this whole thing. But like I said, the moment of really allowing myself to feel and be vulnerable was just something that uh, was definitely powerful for me. So it taught me that it's important to, as well as, as well as providing, being there for your family, it's also important that you can be vulnerable with your family as well. You have to allow them to see you feel, and understand. Because to me, when they're allowed to see you feel, they can embrace their feelings, and we all can deal with it together. So that was one very pivotal moment for me last year, and of course, like I said, the birth of my son. Because ooh we, I don't even know what sleep means anymore.
But
You hear people talk about it,
but
but
those
it's
of us
real.
who well, those of us who have, I'm sure we're gonna drop some nuggets to help you out sooner or later.
All right. Yeah,
Man, that's
but
deep, man. You said something that was very, very important there, David. But we're going to come back to it. Let's hear from Chase, Mr. Gerard. What you got for us, Chief?
Man, the three gentlemen that went before me, I mean, they said a lot. So I jotted down a few notes or a few words from each one of those. And first guy said vision, and then he mentioned competition. And then someone mentioned time with kids, and then David mentioned vulnerable. Well, I'm a business owner, and I don't like to say small business owner because ain't nothing God do small. So I'm a big business
Come on,
owner.
bro.
I have my
Yes,
own
sir.
catering company, and my vision for my catering company was to be the go-to catering company here in Nashville. In order to do that, I thought I had competition, but when you do what God say and how God say, it don't matter what everybody else around you doing. You doing what He say do, and He gonna make it
That's it.
happen, for you, right? So I applied to this to be in this bid to do corporate lunches, to go inside these corporate buildings throughout Nashville and provide them lunch, right?
Mhm.
And they only allow well-known business to do that, like uh you know Wingstop or business restaurants.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
am a big business owner, so a lot of these, I'm gonna say a lot of them, but some of these businesses and most of these businesses never heard of my catering company. It's called Kingdom Cuisine Catering. They never heard of me, and the Lord told me to apply, so I applied. And in that process, I had to trust God because fear came in, because I had to add more insurance policy. I had to double up on my insurance policy. I had to get workers' comp insurance. I had to put employees on, and it was just so many things I had to do that I didn't know if I could do it or even afford it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And with all that, also at the same time I'm doing this, my oldest son, he lived in Dubai. He wanted to come live with me. So that's the balance piece that someone spoke about. So at the same time, I'm filling out all these applications and insurances, and he's getting ready to come over from Dubai to live with me in the States. And there's a whole lot of paperwork to go along with that. But I trusted God, and I did everything. I got approved. I'm in those buildings every day doing corporate lunches. My son is here with me every day, and I have two younger children that they spend time with their mom, and they spend time with me. And I had to figure out how to balance all that. And I wanted to bring all that in from the vision. Um, you have to trust God. God give you a vision. You have to trust God. Like, the fear is gonna set in, but you gotta move through that, because on the other side of that fear is reward. And as far as my oldest son being here, um, man, that pushes me, because I got to. One day I had a 10 and an 8-year-old, and then the next day I got a 17-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old, and it was like crazy. I pretty much got a grown man upstairs.
Right.
And the type of conversations I would have with my youngest son, who's 8, building him up to the 17, I have to pause his conversations and then think, okay, now I'm talking to a 17-year-old. So it's a balance with that. But with all that being said, man, those are the things that change me as a man, for my children to see that, it's hard. I explain to them, with anything you want in life, it's not going to come easy. It's hard work. When my son was overseas and we used to do the FaceTime, and I would tell him that, I have my own business, and for him to actually see it now, we was having a conversation the other day, and he was like, he didn't realize how hard I had to work to get it, because most people think, you got your own business, you do whatever you want, when you want, how you want, and there's just so much to come with that. So there's definitely a balance. And what I did now with those corporate lunches that I do, at the end, my day's over at 1:30, right? So when the kids get out of school, daddy's there. If the kids need to be picked up, daddy's there. Like, no matter what, I'm there. And that's the whole thing with trusting God. Like, he put you through that fire, he put you through it. But at the end of the day, when you go through it and do what he say, how he say, when he say, the reward is, your vision. It lines up. If it lines up with God, he gonna work it all out. And I ain't trying to preach to nobody, because they ain't what I'm just telling y'all, like, my experiences with trusting God.
So in essence, you took a leap of faith, man. I mean, you what you just said, it just really covers so many, as you pointed out, so many other things the other gentlemen have on the panel have said tonight. Man, that's awesome. Let me sometimes they as they say, favor ain't fair, but it's fair to me. Fair for me, those who believe. So what you got for us, Mr. Eric Gibbs, my brother? Talk to us.
What's going on, man? What's going on? I'm telling you what I'm hearing from Mr. Kerry Johnson on down to Mr. Gerard, man. Woo-wee. That's a whole lot of heaviness, and I can relate to all of them simply because 2021 was a significant shift for me. I don't know how many of these men are in leadership in ministry, but ministry took a major turn for me, being that I was facing a divorce. And it was a difficult challenge to stand there and face the ridicule and be able to see people that you truly love, you truly want to see the best for, may not see the good in you anymore, just because based on what their own opinions was. And it was a difficult challenge because it challenged me to trust God more than anything, never lean to my own understanding.
Amen.
And to be able to trust the calling that he has placed on my life. And I think that sometimes that's not easy for us as men, because people, again, as the one brother said already, people always expect us to be the strong ones and never having vulnerable or weak moments. And in 2021, man, I had some days where I can just be real about it now. I came home, left from the crowd, came home, put my face in my pillow and went to sleep for hours, you know what I'm saying? Because that was the only therapy that I had. But I thank God that because the power of prayer and the ability to know that God called me for such a time as this, that what I went through was nothing compared to what the glory is. And 2021 was a very revealing year. I've seen some things fall off of me, and I also seen some things get attached to me that I absolutely love. So I'm thankful for the changes, and I'm most especially thankful for a father's note, because it was a lot of times when I felt at my I won't say lowest, but definitely down there somewhere close to the bottom, where it's a little water and a little dirt, I felt myself getting sluggish, and then I would turn on a father's note in the conversations that, because I'm a huge advocate for no divorce. I'm a huge advocate for what God ordained and what God has assembled together, that no man should put asunder, despite my own flaws and my own contributions to divorce myself. But however, watching Brother Kerry Johnson on your show earlier last year, I'm telling you, man, I was in the laundromat going nuts, because some of the same things that he and his wife were expressing was what I was actually living and going through and saying myself. So it was very touching and very on time for me. So I'm thankful for a father's note, and I'm thankful for the guys who, again, sacrifice and make their ability for men that are going through. Because I caught some major blows last year, but not one time did I let it deter me to be who God has called me to be. And I can't stop, won't stop, because God reaching us, he want us to do something better.
So how did your experience, the things that you said, you just like you just made a comment, I suffered some major blows. So how had it bettered you going into 2022? Share that experience, because maybe another brother needs to hear that. How has it changed you? What has it instilled in you as you move forward going into 2022? That when you came into 2021 was different than what you're doing right now.
I got you. I totally got you. And I only wanted to speed through a lot of that. I didn't want to get too entangled in it. But like Brother Kerry said, the balance. A lot of times I did not have great balance. And I've said this on my own podcast and other times, because I'm a man that can admit when I'm wrong. I did not have a great balance. I was trying to get myself reestablished as a man. I was emotionally dead because I had just lost my mom the year before that. So emotionally, I was dealing with my own emotions. So at times towards my wife at that time, I was emotionally dead to her. Sometimes there was things she was expecting from me, and I just wasn't there. I did not know how to process some of that stuff. And in 2021, I had nothing but time on my hands. So I had nothing but time to deal with me and get the hurt parts of me, get the difficult sides of me, the problems that was in me, things that I had never faced before, abandonment issues, childhood issues. All of that stuff had to be dealt with and unpacked. And that's how I'm able to be stand flat-footed in the pulpit and tell my members just how it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with this stuff. You can't water it down. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't hide it. You got to deal with what's bothering you, because what's bothering you affects everything connected to you.
So and that's you because Brother Kerry had started it off. Kerry started off really.
He did.
And he talked about that time process.
Yes, it's huge.
I think with everybody, time, balance, transparency, and there was something that David said too was so key. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Big.
My son, my oldest son, I had asked him to be on here tonight, but because of schedule conflict, he couldn't make it, because he's going through something right now, and on his side of the family, he's the only child. As far as his mother's side, he's the only child. And he's dealing with extended family, senior parents. And what he's his mother just passed last year. And just like with you, Aaron, he's trying to balance all of these things. And to the point where David said, you want to be strong. You're trying to be strong for everybody. You don't want to, you're the man, you want to carry the family, you want to carry what the children are going through, you want to carry what the grandparents are going through, you want to carry what your wife, and then here it is, you're trying to find yourself. But then yet still, though, I told him, I said, listen, man, you need to be honest with yourself. Be honest with how you feel. Man, don't be afraid to let your son see you cry.
And that you said something very vital. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not realize how important, and people always say that grieving process is different for everybody, and it really is. Some people, they keep themselves busy just to avoid the narrative of what they really need to deal with. And I found myself, as it gotten worse between the relationship and things at the church, it was spilling into things at the church, I found myself in saying, you know what, no matter what, Aaron, at all costs, you got to take care of you. And I forcefully had to start taking time away from things that I would get so bombarded with and just take time for me, because at that time, nobody was there for me when I'm breaking down, you know what I'm saying, grieving and upset and angry and mad. Nobody was there because why? I had prayed for everybody that called. I had answered every text message that came in. As a business owner, I was responding to the clients, giving them the best customer service. But when I finally got home, like it was said, I got 5 to 6 minutes, you know what I'm saying, or maybe 4 or 5 hours good energy, and then next thing you know, I'm crashing and I'm arguing all night. So it was a lot going on. But if you don't have, like we talked about earlier, having that outlet to, you know, men who have gone through that and you've heard them vocally verbalize what you dealing with, you don't, if I didn't have it, I didn't have it. Now I'm making sure that I say what I need to say all the time, so that if any man ever comes across me, they know what they have.
So I think it's important to know, to let all the men know that they got a safe place where they can come and cry.
Come on. You got to have it.
For sure. For sure.
And it don't make you no punk either.
Exactly.
No. I think it's imperative also, even just when it pertains to God. And we have to understand one thing that God really revealed to me, especially, you know, after the loss of my other baby, was that I really had to understand what it meant when the Bible says that his strength is perfect in our weakness.
There we go.
Like we can't allow ourselves to be, you know, strong men and say, all right, God, you know, make sure you take care of that. He has to meet us where we are. You got to be weak. You got to be vulnerable for him to really reveal himself, for him to be your strength. So a lot of times we think because we're men, we got to make sure we, you know, whatever. And it's just like, that's contrary to what God is saying. Like if he's the strength, if he's your perfect strength in your weakness, and you trying to act like you ain't weak, what do you need God for?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's imperative that, you know, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Like you said, let our families, you know, see us in certain moments. It's not to say that we're weak. To me, if anything, it shows that we're strong, that we're allowing them to see us, you know, in our most vulnerable state. That was something that God was just like, it was powerful. He's like, how am I supposed to be your strength if you gonna act like you strong?
Right.
Yeah. How am I supposed to be your perfect strength if you're not showing me your weakness? You know, so that's definitely something we got to pay attention to. We got to make sure that we got to let God be God. You know, when we don't know what else to do. You know,
Exactly.
You know, what I could see based upon that, when I think about my own life and other young men I have run into, uh, we tend to shut off from everybody instead of grasping to something that is solid.
All right, let's see.
We
We're
begin
coming
to
back.
get
I
scared.
apologize to all the guests, those of you who are watching. Okay, there we go. We lost it. You know what? To follow up on what you're saying, I think you were getting ready to say something, right, Elias?
Yes.
You getting ready to say something, Elias?
Yeah.
All right, let me
Yes,
follow up
yes,
on what
I
David
will.
said. Paul said this when God told him about, you know, hey, my grace is sufficient. Paul said he followed. I'm just going to paraphrase it. He said, "Well, therefore, I rather glory in my weakness, so that God's power, His anointing, will make me strong." So, in essence, again, I think what's honestly is being said here is that we cannot be afraid to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, but be vulnerable, of course, in a safe place. Not be vulnerable where someone is going to abuse your vulnerability. And this is what we have to really guard ourselves with on the other side of that, you know. But go ahead, Ellis, what you got to say, bro?
I'm back. I'm sorry. Well, what I was saying is, what I'm learning throughout my life and my life experience, when things get shaky in our life, we tend to push away or shut down from the world. And we begin to hurt ourselves because sometimes we need to grasp into something that is solid, like an uncle or a grandfather or, sometimes a deacon or an elder, somebody that can give us sound mind and a clear thought of how to deal with our situation. We tend to run to the wrong side of the track to ask for the wrong questions or right questions because we're scared of what people may say or think of us. And I think by us being vulnerable in front of our family, especially our wife and our sons and our daughters, it allowed them to know that you're still human. You're not just Superman. You're not just Iron
That's
Man,
right.
but you are a leader that is able to break down and allow yourself to be vulnerable. But once you're vulnerable, you allow it to go away. Sometimes we hold on to so much hurt till we don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to get past the pain.
We need an
You
outlet.
know, yes, we need an outlet. I learned one thing in life. My wife would tell you, I will go sometime in the corner and just sit there and I think about what I need to think about. When I get through thinking, I come talk to her because I need an outlet to get it out. Or I may call a good brother and say, hey, I need to talk to you for a minute. What you think about X, Y, and Z, how it may goes. Because if we don't have that outlet, who's there to help us?
Right. And if I can interject here, one thing that I've learned about on my journey through this life, man, when it comes to men being, sometimes some of us are alpha men, you know what I'm saying? We hardcore, you know what I'm saying? We gonna cry, but we gonna be, you know what I'm saying? What's up, dog? But we crying and we mean on the inside or whatever.
Mhm.
But you know what I'm saying? We got that whole you that's so meaningful to another man that's very beneficial is my presence and my ears. That means let me just show up so my dude can talk. I'm gonna sit on the couch, I'm gonna support you, I'm gonna dap you up. Hey bro, let it out. Say it however
Absolutely.
you say it. This not about the church. You're not in the pulpit right now. You're not studying the word of God. Bro,
Yeah.
say what you need to say to me. Get it out so that we can deal with it and we can go the other way. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you be 100, be 100% wide open, get it up out your spirit, and I'm gonna go, hey, you good? You all right now? You straight?
You're not
And
being
then
judged.
exactly, no judgment zone. And then we're gonna say, hey, you know what I'm saying? All right, so I heard what you said. Now let's look at some things that potentially cause where you are.
Hmm.
Now let's deal with it. But sometimes you just gotta be that release the pressure on some people. You just gotta let your ears just turn the valve and let them boys decompress. You know what I'm saying? Because some men we compartmentalize. We all know that. We
Yeah.
hold it
Mm-hmm.
in. We'll
Right.
deal with it. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it, and we'll deal with it. And then the wrong person get the pressure.
Get the whole
You know what I'm
explode.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
I'm
wrong
Yeah.
person get the pressure. Then the several jokers that needed it. But go ahead.
Yeah.
no, I'm learning how to, because there's so many things that come from so many different areas. Like, you got your, you guys, you got young man saying, he deal with ministry. So you got the ministry, and then you got the kids, and then you got the job. So the pressure or the so-called stress can come from so many different areas. And sometimes we don't even realize that, we're either burnt out or stressed out and that we need to talk to someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you started when you start feeling anxious, and then what happens is that energy feeds off until who's ever around you. And I'll give an
Big time.
example. The other day, I'm gonna say about 3 weeks ago, we ordered Chinese food, and we all was sitting down eating. And my kids share time with me and their mom. So when they're with me, like I'm not married, I'm a single dad, and it's just me and the kids when they're here. And we were sitting down eating Chinese food, and my daughter opened up they like to do the fortune cookie. She opened a fortune cookie, and she read it, she said, "Oh, daddy, you need this." And I'm like, what do I need? Gives me the fortune cookie, and it says something like, "You need a vacation soon," or something like that. Or vacation is
Wow.
coming to you soon, or something. And
Mhm.
she's 10 years old. So I said, Denala, I need
She
a vacation.
watching.
I
Yeah.
need a vacation. She said, yes,
Yeah.
Dad. When you're always on your computer and you're always rubbing your head and you're always taking deep breaths. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
And I did not tell her, but in my mind, I was counting down my days because I was going to Miami on vacation, within the
Right.
next
Right.
week. So that
Yeah.
being said, like sometimes we don't know, but we need to pay attention to what even our kids are saying to us, man.
Yeah.
How we behave in certain situations when we're stressed or something comes to us blindsided, how we react, it affects them, and
Right.
we have to be careful about that.
You know, it's a part of being healthy. You know, it's a part of you being healthy where that you can help yourself, help your
Big
family,
time.
yeah,
Big
help to
time.
your family. Because if you constantly holding a lot of the stress and the challenges and the things that we go through, and then when it comes time for you to
Right.
when it comes time for you to really be there for them, you're no good
Right.
because you're emotionally burnt out.
Right.
And I think that, you know, one of the points that I had made with my son, listen, man, you got to let them see you hurt. You got to let them see you cry, because if you'll let them see you cry, that would allow them to better understand you and what it is that you're going through. They would know how, you know what, then you know what, I don't want to go there with that because that's going to bother dad even more. Or that's going to,
That's true.
you got to do it. You have to do it. I got a question for you, David, because you mentioned about your wife when you was going through what you was going through. In what way, you didn't go all the way into it, but can you share with us what significant way did your wife help you through that period in which that you were going through, with the intent, hopefully, that it would be helpful to other wives who may be in that same situation with the husband who was encountering what you encountered?
It was pretty amazing. It was just, I mean, something just as simple as the initial day that we went to, just to have, you know, check on the babies and make sure everything was just okay. And we found out that there was just no heartbeat. Fast forward to, you know, the long drive home, and, you know, we get home, and just the emotion that just took over me. And now, mind you, I'm trying the whole time just to be strong for her, because at the same time, she still has another baby that she has to make sure she doesn't excite herself. So, you know, all these different things where I'm like, all right, let me make sure, you know, I keep it together. But man, there was a moment that I just couldn't hold it. I broke and literally crumbled and fell to the ground. And my wife, it was interesting, because as much as she was hurting and trying to process things, she watched me, and it wasn't a smile, but almost like a sigh of relief for her to see. One thing she said to me was she officially felt like she wasn't alone dealing with this.
Wow.
Now, y'all can all attest. You know, you all have children and things like that. Uh, the women are the ones that have the children. Like, they physically, they are the ones that have children, and all we could do is be there to support. But in that moment, she felt like she wasn't alone, and that was so powerful to me, because it basically flipped my mind upside down, or flipped things in reverse for me, because I'm thinking, all right, as long as I keep her, you know, moving and think things, you know, I make sure that she thinks I'm okay, that, you know, things will be okay. And it was the exact opposite. She was like, no, I needed to see you cry.
Right.
I need to see you break down. I need to understand that you're hurting as much as I am. You know, and that gives me hope in the fact that we're gonna get through this together. You know, and that was just such a powerful moment for me that I just think about every day. And that goes into my marriage in general. I have to always keep a mirror on myself. You know, it's imperative just to keep a mirror on myself when it pertains to things that we may be dealing with. I have to look at my part in it, and understand, you know, what I'm bringing to the table. So to answer your question, like with her, I feel like it just, I forget who said it, but it showed her. I feel like it was a notch in my belt for the leadership aspect of me being a leader in my family. You know, she looked at
Big
me like,
time.
okay, you're not just a provider, but you can be vulnerable with me too. You can cry. You can have a day where you ain't got to figure it out. You know, we just gonna figure it out together. So that was just a blessing for me, man, because it was just like God met me in that place through her.
Wow.
I've always heard people say that God will speak through your wife, but that was a moment for me where God was just like, He really spoke to her through her. You know, as me being a leader and the head of my house, like, hey, man, you ain't gotta have it together. You just need to lead by example. Sometimes that means you gotta show how vulnerable you are.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, that's good.
And it
Shiv.
sounds like that. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it sounds like that she gave you the strength that you need so that you can be strong for her. Strength for her.
indeed.
And that's some deep stuff, man.
Indeed.
That is some deep stuff right there. Man, you about to say something, bro, Kerry?
Yeah, I mean that's all. That's some
You about to say
powerful
something,
stuff. Yes, sir. That's some powerful stuff, Shiv, man. And thanks for sharing that. I mean, because it's powerful, man.
Nice.
Especially in marriage. In marriage, you know, we're built and taught to be firm and hard, and you know what I'm saying. But it's in that weakness where, you know what I'm saying, like the scripture says, where we receive the strength. God makes us strong through being weak. You know what I mean? And so it's those very moments. And sometimes we're actually framing our family the same way we are, because what, like this brother said, his daughter's watching him and sees a fortune cookie and says, man, this is for daddy. You know what I'm saying? Because she's watching him from afar. So if our kids are watching us always being strong, and kids know when you're hurting, man. Kids have such an innocent spirit.
Right.
They know when you're hurting. They know when you're down. They know when you're mad with your old lady. You know what I'm saying? They know these things, and they're just watching you, seeing how you're responding. And so now watch this. If the kids know, and we're trying to psych them out,
Right.
when they know that we're hurting, we're teaching them to indulge the same behavior when they get married, when they get older. It's just like, okay, you sit and you die, you hurt, you just stay there, you suck it all up, and you go for another 50, 35 years in marriage, hurting and dying, unhappy. And we knew it. And so now they go get married. Hey, exactly. So when they get married, they go, right, exactly. And now a part of them might say, you know what, I ain't gonna be like my mommy and daddy, but that behavior is so ingrained in them that they become us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have to be very careful, man. It's so critical. It's very critical that we're vulnerable. And if I can share this real quick, there's man, my family pulled me in a meeting, right? And I'm gonna make this real quick. This was a couple of years ago. Apparently I was going through some things at the job. I was happy they was playing with my bread or whatever. And man, I just became negative with everybody. You know what I'm saying? The toll booth collectors, it don't matter. Everybody can get the
Everybody can get the business.
Listen, everybody can get it. So I was being negative. So they don't call the family me, and then everybody smiling at first. Okay, this is what we're here for, daddy. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you know, my wifey started off, baby, you know, we're here because, you know, everybody, you know, feels that you're being a little negative. So I'm like, okay, well, son, you feel that way? Well, it's like, well, yeah, dad, you know, it's been, you know, such and such. Well, okay, here go the oldest daughter. So let me hear you. So yeah, dad, it's been that way. So I know the baby girl finna bail me out. So baby girl, you feel this way? Be like, daddy, you've been negative. I mean, you just been, boy, it was like, man, they all had machetes just hitting me up. Hey, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there, I'm taking this, but you know what? That thing dug me out of the pit I was in. I sat there, I took my lashes, I evaluated, and I ain't been the same since. And I'm so grateful for that moment. Everybody collectively saw me being negative. And at that moment, I had to be vulnerable, Shiv. You know what I'm saying? I had to get weak and say, you know what? This ain't the time to say, man, all y'all niggas, man, excuse my French, if we got, you know. Y'all. If I would have been that way, I could have destroyed my family at that moment.
Right.
So now we have a collective agreement that daddy's being a certain way, and then here go my strength when I'm being taught. Just deny it all and keep moving. That's y'all. It's the way it is. I'm daddy. Y'all deal with it and move on. I could have damaged my family at the moment. So yes, vulnerability is an amazing thing. So thanks for sharing that, Shiv.
I have two comments I want to put up real quick here. Okay. One is from where'd it go? Okay, there it is. No man is an island unto himself. Through God's grace we stand.
Amen.
That's it right there. That's it. And this other comment. Just like men saved the damsel in distress, wife, she rescues him back.
Hey, big facts.
Big
Facts.
Big facts.
Sure.
I like
we want to jump on y'all back sometime too.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
facts.
you know, so we're gonna wrap this up, man. This has been great, man. This has been great.
Bro, before you go into your wrap up, before you go into your wrap up, come on, brother. the young man Gerard,
Yes, sir.
he said it a few seconds ago. And I'm reminded of watching a podcast. Young lady, Love Dorsey. She's a little explicit. If you
Yeah.
look her up, that's on your
Hey,
on your choice. But she high octane
She's
and just
dropping
right
it, bro.
for me. But she ain't capping. She go for the men
No
and
cap.
the women. But that's no capping. But she said something last year on her podcast, and then I watch a lot of them. And she said that the problem with a lot of people is they don't channel the energy in the right place.
That's right.
And she said that you can get mad at work and you get mad at the person at work and you come home with that same anger, that same energy, and you're pouring it on your kids. And when she said this, I'm trying to have a woe is me moment, feeling sorry for myself. But listening to that truth, I had to really dissect and be like, you know what? A lot of times I was mad at work and I brought that energy into the house. And then I was mad at the church folk because they driving me up the wall. Right. And I allowed that same energy. So I had to check me and realize at some point you got to start channeling where you mad at. That's where you deal with that at. And that's it. And you don't channel that into something else and start giving 2 to 3 other people the negative energy that they didn't even earn, that they didn't even deserve. And that's all I want to say of what brother said, bro.
Hey, he gave y'all the nice version of how she would have said
it. yes, definitely.
Well, listen, that is true, because that's one of the things that I had learned. I don't bring work home, and I don't take it home to work.
Yeah,
I can't put no simpler than that. You know,
that's right.
It was something you said, Carrie, I want to kind of reiterate on just real quick. I just want to make mention of it. You mentioned about family meeting. And I think that most families, they need to learn how to have a family meeting.
We do it, Doc.
You listen, when our children was in the house and things weren't going right in the house, in the home, with whoever, my wife and I, we call a meeting.
Straight up.
Our children. And listen, this is what's going on. Give me your thoughts on it. How do you feel about it? We go to each child and we allow them to express without.
At what age? At what age did it start?
Oh, this was right out the gate, bro. They were 10, 11 years old. You could do the same with children, man. Because see, what it does, it's several things. What I feel, it teaches them. Number one, conflict resolution. Number two, it allows them to learn how to express themselves.
You're getting it. That's it.
It allows them to not be fearful to
express
themselves.
Open communication. Yep.
That's right.
It's all about communication. So this is something that we do. I mean, if issues, if somebody ain't cleaning up or they not contributing like they're supposed to, we sit down and have a talk, and we let every child share their thoughts, how they feel, whether or not they agree, and then without the intent or the mindset that they're going to be rejected,
right?
That there's going to be repercussion because of their honesty. You know? And no, we allow that. You have to have family meetings if you want to avoid conflict in your home, especially if you see folks walking around upset and angry. Listen, pull everybody together. Let's talk about it.
Absolutely.
Because either they're going to talk about it or either they got to change their attitude. No, that ain't going to work. So one of the things, I'm going to say this, and we got to wrap this up. One of the things that I taught my children, listen, when you come inside that door, whatever you experience out there, you're going to have to leave it out there. You can't bring it in here. Now, if it's something that needs to be discussed, hey, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. Yeah. But this place here is going to be a place of tranquility. This place here is going to be a place of peace. You got enough hell out there to deal with in the world, whether or not at school, on a work job, on a playground, or whatever. And then you got to come home and deal with more of it. Now, we ain't doing that here. So I just want to throw that out there. But just to wrap this up.
I definitely, man, I need to have a talk with my 1-month-old to let him know. We gonna
Get him now, Doc.
You getting
yeah.
early, huh,
Wait,
Dave?
wait.
Come on, Doc.
He took that no, you can start right away to the
Let's
family
go.
meeting too serious.
Come on
Yo,
now.
wake the baby up.
Listen,
Dave,
I know
One for
you.
one, Doc.
baby
I
up.
know you hungry.
Nah,
You ain't gonna be
man.
yelling at me 3:00 in the morning though. You gonna
Well, I hope you don't get upset if you don't say no words back, because he showed up ain't gonna tell you nothing.
all right.
That's what's up.
Well, anyway, just to do a real quick recap, some key words that I was jotting down while you guys was talking. Number one, relationship. You always want to strive. You can and should strive to have a solid relationship with your wife, with your family. Time is another key. Make sure that you're not giving more time outside of the home than you are inside of the home.
Inside. Mhm.
Don't lose focus of what's important. That's
right.
what I had got from what Carrie was saying. And
That's
then
right.
don't neglect don't neglect where your attention is needed. Okay,
Mhm.
whether it's with the wife, with the children, with issues at home. Don't get into competition with things that they really aren't that important. You want to make sure you have a balance. That was another key word that came up. Be vulnerable. Okay, be honest with yourself. Trust God in the process. Eliminate fear. Don't be afraid. Because on the other, as Chavis said, that on the other side of fear is the reward. Be an example. Be transparent. Okay, admit when you're wrong, and don't allow yourself to be emotionally dead. Did I miss anything?
Spot on.
No, not at all.
You
So
listen well, sir.
Hey, bro, that's one of my traits, man. But look, guys, I thank you all so tremendously for joining us on our very first podcast for year 2021. It's been exciting, man. It's been really great. And again, look, thank you guys. We're going to be signing off here. We hope that something has been said here to help other men, other husbands, wives, mothers, sisters, aunties. Share this broadcast with your loved ones, the men in your life. And I'm sure there's been some good, wholesome, honest stuff, truthful things that has been said here tonight. It's been great, guys. And I can't thank you all so much, man. I got so much mad love for all of you guys so tremendously, because without you, you make this show what it is. So with that, we're going to be signing off. Guys, hey, man, much love to you, all right? Much love to you.
Thanks for having us.
All day. Thanks for having us.
Let me wrap up one more. Let me say one more thing here. Listen, I'm going to be back. We'll be back next week. Again, we got a treat for you all. You want to tune in? I'm going to put it on y'all see it in the podcast sooner or later, all right? But without any further ado, I got another show I got to go join on and get ready for. But I love all these brothers here. Much love to you. Hey, David, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm proud of you, right?
Appreciate you, man.
I'm proud of you.
Means a lot.
Yes, sir. Hey,
Yes,
y'all
sir.
have a good night. Hey, family. God bless all of you all. Our Father's Note is signing off, where we promote fathers through building men. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Lionel Nelson here. Welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%.